Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about, sinners and attention seekers. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you to be careful of people who love chasing attention, people who love chasing fame. Because people who chase fame, people who love attention, at some point in time, not everyone. I'm not going to say everyone. It is cruel to lump everyone together into one cabal of evil. So, not all people who chase attention, right, do evil acts. But because there are people who chase attention desperately, right, and do evil acts because of it, I'm going to warn you to be careful of people who who are attention seekers. People who chase fame, people who chase popularity, you have to be careful of them. Why? Because there are too many examples of people killing others just for fame alone. When someone who desperately seeks fame can get fame, right? Can get famous. Do you know what they do? They try to gain infamy instead. When you try hard to gain fame, but when you try hard for years and you realize that nothing works, it's so easy to just decide to just give up doing the right thing, right? Just give up being a kind person. Just give up being an honest human being and try to go the corrupt route. Try to go towards hell instead. And it's easier to go to hell than it is to go to heaven. Because it's easier to go to hell than it is to go to heaven. Guess what? When you try to be an honest person and chase fame using honesty, kindness, or just being a normal human being, right? And it all fails, right? Because you're not someone who perseveres. You're not someone who tries very hard. The moment, it doesn't work out for you, you immediately give up. If you're that type of person that gives up, after a year because it's not working out for you, it's so easy for you to just decide, okay, why work hard anyways when I could just, it's so easy to become famous. It's very easy to become famous if you want to be infamous. Chasing fame, doing the normal route is hard. Just like going to heaven is hard. When you chase fame using honesty and being a good person, right? Going the law abiding route. It takes time and effort to become famous. It takes time. Especially when you're not born into fame, you're not related to someone who's famous. It takes time and effort to get there. A lot of time and effort. Nothing comes to you for free. But it's easier if you go towards hell. It's easier to go to hell than it is to go to heaven. It's easier to get famous, right? If you pretend you like someone who's, if you pretend you like someone who's rich and famous, and you can trick them into, marrying you, dating you, or whatever. It's so easy to be famous, You date someone you don't like who's famous. It doesn't have to be real famous, just a few thousand followers, and then you pick back from that and use it to get someone else. You just go dating person after person, climbing the social ladder of fame. You go from one less, not a famous person, and then when that person introduces you to someone more famous, you jump lap and dive into the next person. You jump into a new relationship with a new person that's more famous than him, and slowly but surely you just climb the social ladder until you become very famous, right? So you pretend you love all these people just so that you can gain their fame. It's easier going that route than it is, especially if you're beautiful. If you're a beautiful person, it's easy to go that route. You can just hug the thighs of someone who's rich and famous, right? And then when someone who's more rich and famous gets close to you, or if that person introduces you to someone who's more rich and famous, you immediately betray the person you're in a relationship with and jump into the lap of the new one. And you just jump from relationship to relationship, chasing people who are more famous than the person you've already been in a relationship with, And you call that fame, but it's infamy. although it looks the same, it's not the same. People do not like, lily hoppers. People do not like people who betray their relationship partners. If all your relationship partners come and tell, complain on social media how you betray them, you cheated on them, your reputation, although you think it's fame, your reputation is ruined. No matter where you go, there will always be people who hate you. There'll be people who hate you more than people who like you. And that's what you have. That's the cost of fame, and that's why I tell you to be careful of people, who chase after fame. Is that you don't know what they'll do for fame. The ones who go after relationship, go from relationship to relationship, are even the kinder ones. You may think they're the worst human beings on the planet because they keep, cheating on their exes. They keep cheating on the people they're in relationships with people who are more famous, and then jump into a relationship with them. But the truth is, these could be the kinder ones. There are people even worse than that. They're serial killers. I've watched so many documentaries of serial killers, and almost all of them, have the mindset of, making history. They want to be the first person to, they want to be the first person to do this, to do that, kill X many, this many people, kill this many children. They're always seeking attention. And that's what you need to be careful of. People who chase after fame, when they can't get it, they start to do evil deeds for fame. They start to chase after infamy instead. There's so many serial killers out there. There's so many school shootings where the person, these mass shootings, man. There's so many of them. Many of them do it just so that it can appear on the news. They want to be famous so badly that they start killing people, just so that they can appear on the news for one day. Just to appear on the news for one day. They don't mind killing a bunch of random strangers. That's how much they crave fame. Some people kill their own family members just for fame. There was a guy who wanted fame so badly. He went on social media, right? He went on the live stream. He turned on his live stream and started killing people on live. Just so that, he can get a bunch of viewers. This is what you need. This is why you need to be careful of people who chase after fame, is that if they can't get fame, they'll go after infamy instead. If they can't get fame, they'll start to do cruel acts for it. They'll start to, you don't know what they'll do when they can't be famous. If you're married to someone who's chasing after fame, just know that at some point in time, if she realizes breaking up with you or betraying you can make her more famous or make him more famous, they're both men and women doing this. They will break up with you in a heartbeat. They will betray you in a heartbeat just to be someone more famous than you. And this is what you need to be careful of. This is why I tell you to be careful of people who chase after fame. They don't know that they're chasing after infamy. They think, as long as a bunch of people notice them, that's all that matters. They don't know that there's a difference between people noticing you and people liking you. Just because a lot of people pay attention to you does not mean they like you. Just because you get a lot of attention does not mean they like you. You may be doing the opposite of what you want. You may be making people hate you instead. And they will hate your guts. At that point in time, this is why you need to be careful of people who chase after fame, is that when it backfires, they won't blame themselves. Especially if you're in a relationship with someone, right? If that person cheats on you and then runs away when you did nothing wrong, right? When all their friends and family members and fan base starts to hate them, guess what they'll do? They will throw you under the bus. They'll make up lies to make themselves look better in front of others, right? They'll make up lies that you were the one who was abusive in the relationship. They'll try to paint you as the most evilest person in the world. That way they can appear pure and precious. That way they can appear holy and saintly. That way all their betrayal, doesn't ruin their lives, doesn't ruin their reputation. So after betraying you, after ruining their reputation, when people find out, all they did was ruin their reputation their entire lives, guess what? They'll look for someone else to blame. They will never take responsibility for their own actions. Evil people rarely ever take responsibilities for their own actions. Sinners rarely ever take responsibility for their own action. They're not people of their words. They're not men or women of their words. Because of that, that's why they betray you so much. Because they're not honest people. Because they're not honest people, why do you think they'll tell you the truth? When you find them doing dishonest things, right? And you question them, why do you think they'll tell you the truth? You already, the fact that, they appear dishonest from afar, the fact that they appear, like a thief or, like a villain from afar, should already tell you something. That they will never tell you the truth, no matter how long, no matter how long they speak, they'll never tell you the truth. Why should they tell you the truth? These people who chase after fame, when it all backfires, they'll look for someone else to blame. They'll try to clean their image. They'll try to clean their public image by blaming everyone else but themselves. They rarely ever take responsibilities for their actions. They'll betray the people they've already betrayed even more by painting them in a bad image, by trying to make make them look bad and make themselves look good. And this is why you need to be careful of people who chase after fame, is that you don't know what they'll do for fame. And when it all backfires, they'll still blame you. Even though it's them who made the mistakes. When they start getting questioned for their bad actions, for their wicked actions, for their cruel actions, for their betrayals, for their sins, when the public, once they get fame and they realize it's not fame but infamy, and everyone, the public starts questioning them, stop harassing them, starts mocking and bullying them, guess what? They'll try to clean their image by lying even more. They will lie and lie and lie. They'll try to bury the truth by lies and paint themselves as the most holiest person in the world. And this is why I tell you to avoid sinners, is because sinners always, love to show themselves as the most perfect people on the planet. And behind that perfection is pure evil. The eviler someone is, the more they love to pretend they're kind. It's just how life works. Ugly people, right? People who are ugly, right? I'm not saying you're ugly, and being ugly isn't a sin. Being ugly is subjective in my opinion. You always be ugly to somebody, and you always be beautiful to somebody. That's my mindset. But people who see themselves as ugly, do you know what they do? They always love to wear makeup, get plastic surgeries. Even men, I've seen many examples of men wearing makeup, wearing lipsticks, wearing eyeliners, just like women. They do plastic surgery, wear makeup, wear earrings. They behave just like women just to hide the fact that they're ugly. So after all that plastic surgery, after all that makeup, after all that deception, behind all that deception is still an ugly person. And that's why you need to be careful of. That's what you need to be careful of. Deceptive people love hiding behind a mask. They love pretending to be something they're not. So the more perfect someone looks on the outside, the more you need to be careful of them. No one is perfect. The more good someone looks on the outside, the more holy someone appears on the outside. The more perfect someone appears on the outside, the more you need to know that, the more you need to, be aware that something is very wrong. They're hiding something from you. Normal people, good people do not pretend to be good. Kind people do not pretend to be kind. Kind people do not go out of their way to show how kind they are. They're just kind people. Good people do not go out of their way to constantly remind you that they're kind. Just like beautiful people do not go out of their way to wear makeup and show off how beautiful they are. Beautiful people are beautiful with or without makeup. They don't even try anymore. They're so beautiful they don't even try. People who try to appear beautiful are usually not beautiful people. And that's how life works. People who appear to be kind are not kind people. People who are tall rarely ever wear high heels. Unless they feel like they're short. That's when they wear high heels. While people who are short love wearing high heels. It's just how life works. It's a compensation issue. People who are evil love to overcompensate and pretend they're good because they don't want people knowing how evil they truly are. They don't want people finding out all the evil deeds that they've done in the past. They love to bury their evil deeds behind a kind mask. They love to pretend they're the kindest people in the world. Yeah, if this is just how life works. Satan in the Bible is the most perfect angel. If you look at Satan from afar, you would think he's God himself. You would think it was Jesus Christ. You would think it was the greatest saint alive. But behind that perfection is pure evil. While Jesus Christ, the greatest saint in the world, the child of God, the Son of God, the shepherd, the good shepherd, if you see him, he'll look like a normal human being. He doesn't go out of his way to appear holy. He doesn't have any glow on his body. He doesn't glow like you expect God to glow. His head doesn't have a halo on it. He looks like a normal person. If Jesus Christ walks past you today, you will not even know he was Jesus Christ. That is how normal Jesus Christ appears. This world always chases after the most demonic things in this, in life. They chase after evil, thinking it's good, because evil love to show how good they are. The eviler something is, the more evil something is, the more it loves to appear to be good. The more perfect it looks on the outside. This is just how life works. The sun looks so beautiful from our point of view, but if you travel towards the sun, at some point in time you realize it's a path of no return. Not only will the heat from the sun burn you alive, at some point in time the sun will pull you in, and you'll never be able to escape the sun's gravity. That is how dangerous the sun is. But from afar, the sun looks so perfect. It looks so beautiful. But don't let that beauty deceive you. Behind that perfect beauty is pure evil, is pure violence, and it's certain death. And this is what you need to be careful of. The most beautiful things in this world are always, especially the fake ones. The people who appear real and normal are usually the kind of people in society. The people who don't show off, the people who aren't arrogant, the people who aren't prideful. Arrogant people love to call themselves self-confident. It's not self-confidence, it's arrogance. People who show off, people who appear perfect from the outside are always the cruelest people in the world, and they've always been. And people always chase after the cruelest people in the world because they appear perfect on the outside. People always chase after fame as if fame will automatically make their lives happier, without realizing that many of these famous people are infamous. They aren't famous, they are infamous. Nobody likes them. So if you chase after these people, sooner or later you'll realize why nobody likes them. At that point in time, it's already too late. Your life may have already been ruined by them. And this is what you need to be careful of. Not all famous people are kind. Not all famous people are evil. Not all normal people are kind, and not all normal people are evil. Non-famous people, I mean. But the more pretentious someone is, the faker someone appears on the outside, the less real someone is on the outside, the more you need to be careful of them. The more perfect something looks on the outside, chances are the more you're going towards a massive illusion, a massive trap. This is how this world works. When night comes, right, and you look outside at night, you look at the skies. Especially if you live in rural areas, you'll be able to see the stars at night, right? The stars look so beautiful from Earth, don't they? When you look outside at night in a rural area where the light from society doesn't block out the stars. When you look outside at night and you see the stars, doesn't the sky look beautiful? It makes you want to go out and look to travel to the stars, right? Guess what? The moment you leave planet Earth, you'll be stuck in the vacuum of space where there's no oxygen, no air, where you suffocate to death within a few minutes. And not only that, even if you can survive that, There's no protection from you for you anymore from the sun's rays. The sun's terrifying heat will blast you to smithereens at any moment. This is what you need to be careful of. Is that although the night sky looks beautiful from our point of view, it's far more dangerous than you can possibly imagine. Things that look beautiful may not be the safest things in this world. Just because something appears perfect and holy on the outside does not mean it is. Chances are it's telling you the equal and opposite. That is the most evilest creature on planet Earth. That is the most evilest thing in the world. That is something that will kill you. This is why it's so easy to go to hell. Because hell appears beautiful on the outside. It appears enticing. It makes you want to, go over to it. It's so easy to go to hell because it's easier. It's the easiest path to follow. It attracts you. It pulls you in. It makes you feel like the grass is greener, is far greener on the other side. You see all these famous people doing all these things. It pulls you in thinking they're living the greatest, time of their lives. Many of these people are drug addicts. Their mind has been so destroyed by drugs. They don't even know what's going on in life anymore. They're just mindless zombies. They smile when they're not happy. They laugh when they're not happy. You don't even know what's going on in their minds. Look at there's so many images of you can find them online of drug addicts. Their brain becomes warped. The more they do drugs, the more their brain gets warped and twisted. It gets bent out of shape. It looks so deformed and messed up. How can someone like that be a normal thinking person when their brain has already been messed up beyond recognition from drugs? And this is what you need to be careful of. There are too many celebrities dying of drug overdose for being a celebrity to be a great thing. There are too many celebrities complaining on social media how badly they get treated by their co-workers and friends or ex-friends for being a celebrity, to be a great thing. You're only seeing the good things of being a celebrity because celebrities love to paint a perfect picture of their lives. They love showing off how cool they are until everything breaks down. And then they start blaming everyone else but themselves. When their fake lives fall apart in front of the public eye, they will never take responsibility for their own action. They will always look for someone else to blame. And this is why you need to be careful, is that people who chase after fame are very dishonest people. Not all of them. Not every celebrity is dishonest. I'm not going to say every celebrity is dishonest. But you need to be careful because you don't know who's Jesus Christ or who's the devil. Jesus Christ appears like a normal person. Satan himself appears the most righteous. If you see Satan, you think he's the most righteous, kind, and perfect human being. Someone who loves the world. That's how Satan will appear to you. He will never appear like a demon. Satan was not, visualized like a demon in the Bible. He didn't look like a demon. He didn't appear like a demon. He looked like a perfect angel. A perfect creation of God. You look even more perfect than Jesus Christ. That is how dangerous Satan is. He's the most perfect demon there is. Because he's perfect, you never see him as evil. You will never see the devil as evil. And that's why he's the devil. And that's why you need to be careful. Because you chase after fame. There are people who chase after fame. People who chase after money. Mindlessly without realizing that. Is this really what I want? The grass is always greener on the other side. But not all grass are safe. Some grasses in this world are very poisonous. Very toxic. And they could kill you very quickly. And this is why you need to be careful. Just because the grass is greener on the other side does not mean the grass is safe on the other side. So people who chase after fame themselves do not know what they're going after. When they realize they're not going after fame, they're going after infamy. When they realize, after going after fame, doing the normal deeds, and it doesn't work. They keep spinning their wheels. They spend year after year, and they're still a normal person. They're not as famous as Beyonce. They're not as famous as all these celebrities. Their mind will start to warp. They start to look for, evil ways to get famous. They start to look for evil ways to become famous. And that's why you need to be careful of them. Some of them will just give up. They'll either just give up and say, fame is not for me. Let me go on, let me live my own life. I don't care about fame that much. It doesn't work out anyways, right? And some of them will actually, persevere until they actually become famous. There are people like that. Not everyone who chases after fame is evil. Some people will remain a good person and become famous doing what they've always did. There are many examples of this. There are people who persevere throughout years. They'll spend years in life persevering until they become famous. There are people like that. Not everyone who chases after fame will become an evil person. But I'm just telling you that not everyone is kind in this world. Not everyone is a good person in this world. And the sign of an attention seeker, people who chase after fame, are usually not the kindest people. They're too greedy for fame. And greed is a sin. It's okay if you want to be famous, right? But if you chase after fame more than your own life, more than your own health, at some point in time, you have to know there's something wrong going on. Your life is more important than fame. The life of your family members are more important than fame. The life of your friends are more important than fame. If you hang out with someone who thinks fame is more important than you, fame is more important than their friends, fame is more important than their own lives, run away. They're telling you something. They don't value your life. They don't value their life. They don't value anyone around them. If they don't value your life, if they don't value the lives of everyone around them, it's only a matter of time before they go the corrupt route, before they try to chase after infamy. Because they don't care how they gain fame. You just want fame at all costs. You don't know what a greedy person would do, for fame. You don't know what they'll do for fame. And this is why I tell you to be very careful of sinners. The Bible warns you to avoid sinners. And greedy people are sinners. Because greed is a sin. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's safety and understanding. Amen.